Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty electrifying happening in sports right now. It's all about the just unprecedented buzz around Caitlin Clark's WNBA preseason debut.
It really is remarkable, isn't it? I mean, preseason games, yeah. They're usually just warm-ups, fine-tuning, getting the rust off. They don't typically make these kinds of headlines.
Yes, exactly. Usually it's like coaches testing lineups. Nobody's really watching that closely outside the dedicated fans, but this felt, completely different. So our goal today is to really dig into why. Why did this one preseason game blow up like this? We're looking at news commentary focusing on, the ratings, the attendance figures, the early money talk. We want to get to the key insights. What does this all mean for the WNBA and maybe even, for sports more broadly?
Yeah, let's unpack it. Where should we start? The ratings seem like the obvious place.
Okay, yeah, the viewership numbers, they're honestly kind of staggering for an exhibition game.
They really are. An average of 1.3 million viewers watching the Indiana Fever against the Brazilian national team.
And it peaked higher, right? Like 1.6 million?
Yeah, 1.6 million peak, which is just wow.
That really forces us to recalibrate what we expect from preseason and training camp.
It does. I mean, think about it. A preseason game pulling in more viewers than the actual WNBA finals last season. That's astonishing, frankly. What do you think is really driving that level of interest? Is it purely the Caitlin Clark hype train?
Well, the hype is definitely a huge part of it. It's sort of this perfect storm, isn't it? You've got this incredibly famous college player, huge following already, stepping onto the pro stage. What's also interesting is the historical context people are bringing up. I've seen comparisons to LeBron James's debut with the Lakers back in 2018.
For a preseason game, that's a big comparison. It is. And that Lakers debut was seen as this massive moment, right? A new era for the team, for the league. So the fact that Clark's preseason game is even in that kind of conversation, it really highlights how significant people think this is. It's like fans want to witness the start of something potentially, game-changing.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting for me. It wasn't just people watching on TV. The scenes at the arena itself were a huge story. Carver Hawkeye Arena completely sold out, 14,000 fans. For preseason, what does that tell you?
It screams demand, pure and simple. And then you look at the ticket prices they were reporting, an average price around $670. That's more than a lot of NBA playoff games.
It's wild. What do you think makes someone pay that much for essentially a practice game? Is it just seeing Clarig, or is it like buying into a moment?
I think it's got to be more than just the game itself. It feels like being part of something, Yeah, a cultural event almost.
And if you just do the quick math on that, 670 average, 14,000 seats, that's nearly $10 million in ticket revenue for one exhibition game.
Right? And that kind of money? For just one night.
Yeah.
It dwarfs what many WNBA teams bring in from ticket sales over an entire season.
Yeah, significantly.
It really highlights the level of investment fans are willing to make. It's almost like they're not just buying a ticket, they're buying stock in the future,
That's a good way to put it, but it does raise a question, doesn't it? Is that kind of spending sustainable, or could it maybe create, a sort of imbalance if this Clark effect doesn't lift everyone equally?
That's the potential downside to watch, for sure. But right now, the narrative is definitely about this spreading outwards.
So this Clark effect, the surge around her, it's obviously huge for Niana, but you're saying it's not just staying there.
No, exactly. Building on those crazy viewership and attendance numbers we just talked about, this intense focus on Clark and the Fever seems to be giving the whole league a boost. Well, teams that are playing against the Fever are seeing their own ticket sales go up. And maybe even more critically, they're getting way more national TV time.
Okay, that makes sense. I saw a stat on that, something like 41 out of 44 Fever game.
Yeah, 41 out of 44 are set for national broadcast this season. That's yay. That's just unprecedented visibility for the league.
Unprecedented is the word. Compare that to last year.
Right? Last year, some teams maybe got, 6 national games? Maybe if they were lucky.
So this is a massive jump.
It signals a fundamental shift, I think, in how the media sees the WNBA. It's not the league begging for airtime anymore. Now, networks are actively seeking WNBA games because they know the audience is there, especially
Buy
for
or
anything
sell
involving
it.
Clark. Flip the script.
It really feels like the league's crossed some kind of barrier, doesn't it? Into the mainstream. And what's great is it seems like this rising tide, it's lifting all the ships.
That's such a crucial point. It's not just about Clark, even though she's the catalyst, right? All this new attention means players like Diana
Correct.
Taurasi, Aja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu. These amazing athletes who've been stars for years, they're now getting seen by way more people. Just because more eyes are on the WNBA, period. The whole league benefits.
Yeah, and you even hear stories, right? Like sports bars that never showed women's hoops before are now having watch parties.
Exactly. That tells you the fan base is broadening significantly.
People who maybe couldn't name 5 WNBA players last year are now, actually following rosters and storylines.
It's definitely moved beyond being just a niche interest. Yeah. Feels like it's part of the main sports conversation now.
And you know what follows that kind of mainstream attention and fan engagement?
Music.
Money. Yeah, this boom in viewership is already starting to attract serious financial interest.
Absolutely. We're seeing way more interest from big-name sponsors, car companies, tech giants, fashion labels. Brands that maybe wouldn't have looked twice at the WNBA a couple of years ago are now lining up.
What do you think is driving that specifically? Is it just chasing the Clark buzz, or is it a deeper recognition of the league's value now?
I think it's probably both. Right. Clark is the undeniable spark, but maybe they're also seeing the league's overall trajectory, the passionate fan base.
And it sounds like the league is actually in a pretty strong spot negotiation-wise.
Yeah. Reports are saying that the demand for ad spots during WNBA games is actually higher than the available inventory.
Wow, that's a complete turnaround.
It's a huge shift in the economics. And that extra revenue? That could have some really important downstream effects.
Like for the players?
Exactly. Thinking about the next collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, if the league has more money coming in, that could mean better player salaries, improved benefits. Maybe it even reduces the pressure for players to go play overseas in the off-season just to make ends meet.
That would be huge for the stability and growth of the league here.
Definitely. It could really strengthen the WNBA long-term.
And the wildest part is remembering all this discussion, all this impact we're talking about. It kicked off because of one preseason game.
It really sets the stage, doesn't it? If this is the buzz for preseason, what's the regular season going to look like?
Right. You think about those big matchups already circled on the calendar.
Oh, yeah. Against the Aces, the Liberty Chicago Sky with Angel Reese, the Mercury with Taurasi. Those games are going to have a much bigger spotlight on them now nationwide.
It genuinely feels like we're watching a pivotal moment, like the mainstreaming of the WNBA happening right before our eyes. It's pretty exciting.
It really is. And ultimately, it shows that Caitlin Clark isn't just, a fantastic basketball player. She's acting as this huge catalyst. She's actively helping reshape the future of the entire league. It's profound.
So yeah, wrapping things up, it really does feel like a court quake, as some have called it. And Caitlin Clark is right there at the epicenter.
And it's bigger than just sports, too, isn't it? It's got this broader cultural resonance. It's starting conversations, bringing in new audiences who maybe didn't pay much attention to women's pro sports before.
Absolutely. So we definitely encourage you, the listener, keep an eye on the Fever this season, but also watch the whole WNBA. This story is far from over, and it really could change the sports landscape quite a bit.
Which brings us to kind of a provocative final thought, one that's been bouncing around in some of the commentary. Given everything we've discussed, the massive attention, the potential financial boost, you have to wonder, and people are asking, did Caitlin Clark's arrival basically just, save the WNBA?